Open almost any supermarket spice aisle and you'll face a choice that seems surprisingly simple. Whole black pepper or ground pepper? Whole cumin seeds or ground cumin? Coriander seeds or coriander powder? Most people grab whichever is more convenient and never think about it again. But that small decision can dramatically change the flavor, aroma, shelf life, and even the cost of your cooking. So, are whole spices really better, or is that just another kitchen myth? To answer that question, we need to understand what a spice actually is. Every spice is packed with tiny pockets of essential oils. These oils contain hundreds of aromatic compounds that give cinnamon its warmth, cumin its earthiness, coriander its citrus notes, and black pepper its unmistakable bite. Think of each spice as a tiny natural container protecting its own fragrance. As long as that container stays intact, much of the flavor stays locked inside. The moment a spice is ground, everything begins to change. Grinding shatters those protective walls, exposing the aromatic oils to air, light, moisture, and oxygen. That wonderful smell filling your kitchen isn't just flavor being released, it's also flavor escaping. Every day after grinding, a little more aroma disappears. The spice doesn't suddenly become bad, but it slowly becomes less vibrant than it once was. That's why freshly ground black pepper smells so different from the pre-ground pepper sitting on many restaurant tables. Twist a pepper mill over a bowl of pasta and the aroma instantly fills the air. Open a container of pepper that's been pre-ground for a year, and the difference is immediately noticeable. You're not imagining it, you're experiencing the chemistry of volatile aromatic compounds. The same principle applies to many other spices. Cumin, coriander, cardamom, fennel, cloves, nutmeg, mustard seeds, and even cinnamon all retain their character much longer when stored whole. Grinding them just before cooking captures their aromas at their peak, creating dishes that taste noticeably fresher and more complex. Does that mean you should throw away every ground spice in your kitchen? Not at all. Ground spices have one enormous advantage: convenience. If you're preparing dinner after a long day at work, reaching for ground paprika or ground turmeric can save valuable time. Many excellent meals are made using pre-ground spices. The key is knowing when convenience matters and when flavor deserves the extra minute. Different spices age differently. Black pepper and cumin lose their aroma relatively quickly once ground. Nutmeg is famous for the dramatic difference between freshly grated and pre-ground versions. Paprika gradually loses both its color and its sweetness. Turmeric is more stable, while cloves remain surprisingly aromatic because of their exceptionally high essential oil content. Understanding these differences helps you decide which spices are worth buying whole. Storage matters just as much as grinding. Heat, sunlight, moisture, and air are the enemies of every spice. A clear jar sitting beside a hot stove may look beautiful, but it's one of the worst places to store your collection. Professional kitchens usually keep spices in cool, dry places away from direct light, preserving their aromas for as long as possible. Another question many home cooks ask is whether they need expensive equipment. Fortunately, the answer is no. A simple pepper mill is enough for black pepper. A basic coffee grinder dedicated to spices works wonderfully for larger batches. And for many spices, a traditional mortar and pestle offers something machines can't: complete control over texture while gently releasing aromatic oils. Choosing between a mortar and an electric grinder isn't just about speed. Crushing spices by hand often leaves slightly uneven pieces, creating bursts of flavor throughout a dish. Electric grinders produce a finer, more uniform powder that's ideal for spice blends and baking. Neither method is universally better, they simply serve different purposes. Many traditional cuisines understand this instinctively. In India, whole spices are often toasted before grinding into masalas. In Morocco, freshly ground spices are prized for their vibrant aroma. Across Mexico, toasted dried chilies are blended just before making sauces. These techniques weren't developed because they looked impressive, they survived because they consistently produced better food. If you're building your spice collection from scratch, prioritize buying whole versions of black pepper, cumin, coriander, nutmeg, cardamom, fennel, cloves, and mustard seeds. For spices you use less often, high-quality ground versions are perfectly reasonable. The goal isn't perfection, it's understanding where freshness makes the biggest difference. Here's a simple experiment you can try tonight. Smell a teaspoon of pre-ground black pepper. Then grind a few whole peppercorns beside it. The difference is immediate. One smells muted and familiar. The other seems alive. Once you notice that contrast, it's difficult to go back. Whole spices aren't automatically better because they're whole. They're better because they give you control. You decide when to grind them, how coarse they should be, whether to toast them first, and when to add them to the dish. That control is exactly what professional chefs value most. In the end, this isn't a battle between whole and ground spices. Both deserve a place in a well-stocked kitchen. The real secret is knowing when each one shines. Understanding that single choice can make your meals noticeably more aromatic, more flavorful, and more memorable, without changing a single recipe. In the next Flavor Atlas episode, we'll uncover one of the oldest and most powerful techniques in cooking, why toasting spices changes everything, and discover why just 30 seconds in a dry pan can unlock an entirely new world of flavor.